What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Singing the Tea. I'm your host, Dustin, singer, actor Lewis. Sometimes I sing, sometimes I give you all of the reality TV tea, but it's always going to be what you want and it's always going to be what you need. And baby, listen, I am back with another Bellecollective review. I'm super excited about this one. I know I'm a little late, but listen, it was my birthday, right? I had to take a little time for me. But I'm going to say this, because I'm trying to hurry up and get it out to y'all, I'm not going to put the little clips in like I normally do, so I'm just not going to do that today so I can get it out to y'all real quick. But before we dive into it, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share with a family member, share with a friend, so we can grow our community over here, y'all. So let's continue to do that thing. And don't forget to hit the notification bell button. Now, with all of that out the way, let's talk about Bellecollective. So we are on season 6, episode 4, Trouble in Belle-adise. I really like the name of that. But I feel like it should have been called With Friends Like This, Who Needs Enemies? Because, child, this is some mess. This is some mess here, baby, because these are definitely frenemies, because I don't know what friend group acts like this. What some people just do what these folks did. And let's talk about it. Now, the episode opens up at the pool party. We still at Latrice's pool party where Glenn is getting into it with Miss Stud. Now, Glenn, remember, it's a stud, bruh. Now, it's a lady. Calm down. Now, you ain't have to get up there getting all in the Miss Stud face. I forgot their name. You ain't have to do all of that. But just remember, okay? Now, as the episode's going on, they having to remove Glenn, everybody go outside, and Letitia and Mandy are still having the conversation. And I gotta say this, Amanda, you extra wrong, right? Because the way that lady is saying, me and you was cool, you helped play a part in me and Latrice working on our friendship. And Amanda, if you did all of that, and you knew that her husband was messaging you, you should have been had that conversation with that lady. Like, I cannot believe that she did that. And, like, why wouldn't you bring it up to her sooner? And bringing it up in the manner that you did is so messed up and wrong on so many different levels. And Latrice, when they over there having a conversation, you trying to get them to come back in and not talk, baby, it's too late. It's too late for you to try to get involved now, because you should have had that conversation and had that sit down prior to this situation. You should have been had that. That sit down should have happened on episode 1. We're on episode 4. You should have been had that conversation, girl. Now, you definitely are wrong with that, Latrice. Like, you are not being a friend. Like, that's messed up. If you cared about that lady the way that you say that you do, you should have been had that conversation. Or at least encourage Amanda to have the conversation. Now, I just have a question for everybody. Do we believe what happened? Because it seems like they are downplaying the situation like it wasn't that deep. Like, it seems like they're saying, like, oh, well, that's all he sent. Like, oh, he just was asking this, or he was liking this. But he did ask for her number. So, I don't know about y'all. My partner can't ask my friends nothing. And it's not an insecurity thing that has nothing to do with it. It is a situation of, if you have to have a conversation, you talk to me. And then I'll relate it back. Or my thing is, maybe if it's a surprise or something. But I really don't understand the need to, like, especially with the situation that he has going on. I think that that's the biggest piece. It's more so in the situation of, like, sir, you have had infidelity issues in the past. There have been people in this group who have brought things back to your wife with you allegedly doing these things. Why would you even set yourself up for failure like that? You shouldn't be commenting on her pictures. You shouldn't be doing any of that. It's a slippery slope, bro. You shouldn't have done it. So, I really feel like Latrice and Glenn need to have a conversation, and they do later on in the episode. But right now, we see Letitia and Amanda going and confronting Glenn. They're asking about the stuff. And, Amanda sitting there like, what did I lie? Am I lying? I didn't know, am I lying? Amanda, you was doing too much. Calm down, baby girl. Calm down, Miss Mamas, because you started this whole thing. This is because of you. Now, don't get me wrong. You wasn't in it by yourself, because if Glenn wouldn't have been in your DMs, none of this would have happened. So we just put it there. So, Glenn, you really are the catalyst for this mess. But, Amanda, you just carried it over the threshold. And he was saying, like, oh, well, all we did was dance. And this is what, Glenn, my brother, I'm a little confused. And even the dudes outside, they were like, man, they're trying to set you up. They're trying to set you up. No, he did it to himself. My thing is, you should have had that conversation with your wife prior to this situation. It shouldn't have come to your wife in this manner. You should have been had that conversation with her. You should have been asking for the girl number. You shouldn't, I almost cussed, your doggone should have been wanting to dance with the girl. That's a 100% no. Because, and I get you said that y'all didn't do anything, but I feel like if the opportunity would have presented itself, y'all would have. So, I'ma just say that. Both of y'all are wrong. I can't believe that y'all did Letitia like this. And I just feel like, I don't know why Letitia feels like she's just being set up like this. Like, I don't get why they would do that. She seems like too good of a woman for y'all to do, friend, all of that for y'all to do this lady like that. Because she really doesn't mess with anybody. That's the thing when it comes to Letitia. Letitia is really cool. She seems real chill. Like, I just don't get why they're doing her the way that they're doing her. It's really, really, really messed up. So, that's kind of where it ends at the pool party. We see everybody leaving. But I feel like there's more to the story when it comes to this whole Amanda Glenn situation. Let me take a sip. Hold on. Florida's finest, baby. Now, we see Marie and Kerri pulling up to Letitia's house. Or Letitia, as Miss Marie likes to say. It's good to see them on good footing. It's good to see them put their differences aside and show up for their friend. And, you know, Marie is even saying, you know, I wasn't doing Miss Kerri. I wasn't really fooling with her too much. And Marie, trust and believe, baby, we know. We remember on the episode where you got that lady together by her fashions, where you was up there looking like the Renaissance concert itself. We remember. You do not have to remind us. But we are glad to see that y'all can put y'all's differences aside and really just show up for this lady. And Latrice, this is how friends show up for somebody. Okay? So when friends really care about somebody, this is what you do. Take notes, girl, because this is how you show up for people that you care about. So, you know, the ladies are pouring into her, and even in her confessional, we see Letitia crying about the situation because she's hurt, man. Like, she feels set up. Like, the way the questions were posed, from start to finish, I feel like they knew what they were doing when it came to this situation with this lady. And, you know, I have to agree with Kerri. Kerri said that Letitia handled herself well, and I couldn't agree more. I think the way she handled it with class and the way she was like, okay, Amanda, let's talk about this girl. Me and you are cool, so what's going on here? And then she was like, Glenn, let me know something. What's happening? She handled it very well, but, you know, she still is hurting through this situation. She's still going to hurt. But I also agree with Marie. Listen, you can handle the snake all day, but when it bites you, baby, that's on you. You know, so Latrice has been doing stuff to you, little stuff. I understand that you wanted to be that big sister role to her. I get it. I like Latrice, and I actually really like y'all friendship, but she can't continue to do you the way that she doing you, Letitia. Like, you got to figure that out. So, if you don't want to fool with her no more, we will 100% understand. As a collective, we get it. So, after that scene, we see Latrice and Amanda meeting up and they catching up. And Latrice, here's the thing with Latrice that bothers me as well. We see you going to check on Amanda. Why weren't you checking on Letitia? Like, Letitia is the one that was hurt in this situation, not Amanda. Like, don't get me wrong. You know, Amanda had some heat coming her way. But Letitia is the one that's hurting. Letitia is the one whose husband is allegedly stepping out on her, and that the information was brought up at your event. You should have had a conversation with that lady. You should have. Now, Amanda, your salon looks cute. You got a real cute, nice salon. You can do a good piece of hair, girl. Now, you definitely do like you can do some hair. But, you know, they talk about the pool party. Now, the thing I don't get with them having this conversation is Latrice is sitting here acting like, well, you know, I ain't gonna do nothing but be blamed. I already know the Belle's gonna blame me for this. Yeah, it was your event. And then also, too, you talking about well, I didn't ask the questions. Baby, you knew what questions was going to be posed. I understand the people at the salon at Goddess Lane's institution, I understand that they might have set up the questions, but you knew, you proofread them. You knew what they were going to ask. And you knew that your girl was going to sit up here and act a plumb fool next to the lady. Sitting next to the lady knowing that her man was in her DMs, the nerve. See, let me tell y'all something about this. We don't do this in Mississippi. We is real classy based, baby. All we do, baby, we fry chicken. We eat collard greens, candy yams, a few slices of ham, just a few leftovers. You know, that's what we do around there. Real classy. We go dirt bike riding, mudding, eat crawfish. We like to shop. We like to go to the beach. But mess, and see, God ain't gonna bless this mess. He ain't gonna bless it. Now, guy, he like a little mess here and there. He like a little mess. He like to kiki and cackle with us. He do. He funny, baby. He all right. He talks to me all the time. But when I tell you he don't like this foolery that you got here, and you will not get into the pearly gates acting a fool like this. You get yourself together, Latrice. And Amanda, you too, because you ain't scot-free on this either. Talking about I really feel like, it got elevated when it got elevated when you said the man was lying. You're not a part of this group, Miss Amanda. Now, you might be friends with the people, but when we talk about some people that you find attractive in the group, we talking about the bells. Okay? We're talking about the bells. We're not talking about the extras. We're not talking about the LaBelles. We're not talking about the Patty LaBelles. We're talking about the bellecollective. You might have an eye, but you are definitely missing the T. And you better proceed with caution, because you done lost your mind. Now, see, I like the Latrice, but Letitia is a good, God-blessed woman. You was wrong for doing that girl like that. And then got the nerve to sit up here and say Glenn had his arms wrapped around you or something. Latrice, you remember that? And you see Latrice how this girl throwing you under the bus? Latrice, I'm ashamed of you. I thought you were better than that. You got goddess links hair. Them bundles ain't gonna make it up there. I'm telling you. You better get yourself together. I better see you at church. Well, today is Sunday. I better see you next to me in the pew. And get yourself together, because y'all got it started. Now he 100% wrong, but y'all wrong too. Now anyway. Now, we gonna go on to the next thing, because they done made me mad. Anyway, so we see Kerri pulling up to check on her husband, and I really like them. Let me take a sip of water. My throat done got dry, all that holler. I apologize. They talk about the party, Kerri and her husband, and I really enjoy Kerri and her husband. I think they were a wonderful, wonderful addition. They are giving us their real life. They're giving us the comedic timing. They are giving us real situations and couples having to work through situations. I love it. But when they talk about the party and they rehash, and he was like, man, it was just a mess. He said that he reached out to Glenn on Instagram. She said, oh, so you slid into the DMs too? See, I like that Kerri. Kerri's all right with me. But, it was just funny. And the situation with Glenn and Letitia is they have to work it out. They have to have a conversation, because both of them are hurt. And they just got to do the work to figure out what it is that they need to do. And speaking of doing the work, Kerri threw a little shade, and she was just like, what are some flaws that you need to work on, Matt? And Matt was like, but I really can't think of it right now. Matt, I know that's right. You got to let them know. You can't think of them. You can't think of them. I'm hot. You can't think of a flaw. Hey, I ain't even mad at you, brother. You do your thing. But Matt also talked about being a person of color and entering into the industry that he's in, and that's what it's a little difficult for people of color to enter into that space. So it was also nice to see him talk about that as well. So I really, really like this couple. I think they're a great addition. So shout out to them. So after that scene, we have Marie going to visit Cedric at his hair school that happens to be conveniently placed next to his home. Now, I don't know what all you need to do to own a hair school. I think it's really dope that he has that. So shout out to Cedric for that. But it's really, really cool. It's a cool, awesome thing. So shout out to you, brother, for doing that. Kudos. And then Marie also talks about how she used to do hair. Marie, girl, I didn't know you did hair. Honestly, at this point, Marie just need to tell us what she hasn't done, because Marie is goals. Marie is a true boss, and Marie is an inspiration to these people out here. Like, she's stunning. And the way Marie keep her hair plastered, fixed up over there with them good finger waves, I should have known she did hair, because it'd be too upkept. You know what I'm saying? I know Marie, ever since before she in the car, baby, she making sure them fingers is laid right, baby. I know Marie keeps a nasty rat tail comb, just making sure it's right, baby. I know she do. I know Marie do. Marie, that's my girl. I think Marie is my favorite. I love me some big money Marie. I love it. So it's nice to see Marie and Cedric working things out and working on their relationship. And, she tells him, look, since we back together and we working this thing out, that bed that you got over there, but it's got to go. You done had other women in that bed. It's time for you to get that bed out of there. We don't want none of them spirits dancing through the headboard. We need a new headboard and stuff around here. He obliges, but he's also they're having a conversation about moving back in. And I think that he's a little reluctant about it because of just what they've gone through. But she does not want him to keep the bachelor pad. And I think that I get it. For him, it's like, hey, it's convenient. I can just, if I'm working late or if I'm doing something late with the school, I can just go right over here home. But she's like, listen, we want you home with us. So I hope they figure that out. Yeah, it's just a lot. So as she's helping him dye his beard, get them grades and stuff out of there, they talk about the pool party as well. And she was just asking him, like, how did you feel about it? He was like, look, it started off cool, but then it just got messy. And he said, like, is the point of the game to, like, just ruin marriage? Just like, what's the point of this game? Because the questions were just very inappropriate. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Even if it wasn't a show, like if it was just regular friends, those are not appropriate questions to ask. Some of them were fun. You can have fun with those. But asking like who you find in a group attractive, that's a definite no. You definitely don't do that in a friend group. That's an absolute no. So it's just sad to see Letitia and Glenn going through that situation. And, they kind of talk about that. But, that's all we got out of that scene. Now, a scene that I enjoyed was Carrie. She set up a date night for her husband. And I have to say this. I like the toast that she did when she was saying, to a non-traditional marriage, but traditional love. And he was like, whatever that means. I got what she meant in that moment. Like, a traditional marriage, especially being from the South, right? A lot of us look at it like, oh, you have the husband, you have the wife. The wife is supposed to be in the house cooking, making sure everything in the house is good. And the man is supposed to be the breadwinner out here doing the thing. And I think what she is saying is, look, we are both out here in these streets working. We are both making sure this household is good. Like, you spend time with the kids, you make sure that they are getting ready for the school bus and all of this. And I do vice versa. Like, we are just here to support each other as a equal part unit. So I love when she said that because that's a big thing to be. But that's just a really cool thing. And I think the more modern people get with that, the more successful relationships will be and will become. Because you have to think about it. Don't do something in a relationship just because people say, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Do something in a relationship that feeds you and that fuels you. That's how you get success. And that's how you end up happy. Because you got to make sure you're still happy at the end of the day. And that's what this couple is doing. And I just love to see them to put in the work and actually listen to each other and hear each other and doing what they have to do to make their relationship successful. So big kudos to them. Great job, y'all. Now, after that scene, we see Glenn is outside talking to his stepdad, and he's kind of like catching him up on some of the things that happened. And, as they're having the conversation, we see Letitia. I love the way Marie says her name, Letitia, comes out. And, they have to have a conversation about what took place at this pool party and what is really going on. And you can tell Letitia is hurting. She is hurting. You can tell Glenn feels disrespected. He's disappointed in his friend because, he was at his friend's house and he's like, look, what's going on? And I think the thing for them is I feel like they feel like their relationship has been put on a platter for this group to just basically just like divulge and just like eat and take over. The thing with the situation when it comes to Latrice and the pool party, I'm with them. When they started rehashing some of the things that allegedly happened or things that she allegedly came at them with, when he alleges that, somebody in the salon came onto him, then he alleges, the alleged baby situation came from her, then him alleged infidelity also came from her. It's like, Latrice, a lot of this stuff is coming from your camp allegedly, and you have to be out of it. And I feel like the biggest thing that Latrice should have done is she'd be like, you know what, Amanda? I appreciate you for telling me this, girl. I'm going to go ahead and let her know because I don't want no parts in this, just so you can wash your hands of the whole situation. Because the way that it played out was messy. You didn't have any care. Like Glenn said, they didn't care about you, me, or our child. Y'all didn't have any care for them because y'all would have handled that situation a different way if it was a true friend and you truly cared about these people. Glenn and your husband were friends, Latrice. You could have had that conversation. Even if it had been like, hey, Cliff, tell Glenn, hey, he need to get it together. If it would have just been something like that. There are so many ways that you could have interjected the situation instead of you doing it the way that you did. Like it was 100% wrong. And when Letitia breaks down and she's having a conversation with Glenn and she's like, listen, if you don't want me, leave me alone. Like if you don't want to be here in this situation, leave me alone. And I get it because I feel like when she gets to a place where she's good and she's trying to like set footing and set the foundation to be with herself and be with her son, he comes back in and he's doing the legwork, but then something else happens. Like, even if it's not true, it still brings up those residual feelings that she was going through, right? Like, she's going to always feel that hurt. And man, it's your job to protect her, whether or not something came from the DM situation or not. For it to even be implied that something happened between you and this woman, that's a 100% no. Your wife shouldn't even be feeling none of that. And that's the issue, Glenn. Like, it's like, Glenn, honestly, it's just like, do you care about her? Because even if you did, like, I get nothing happened, right? Nothing happened, but something did happen. Like, something inappropriate, right? I'm not saying that he stepped out on her. The relationship that you and Amanda had, regardless if it was one or not, it was inappropriate. The situationship, whatever it was, the conversations, they were inappropriate and they should have never happened. I understand Letitia and Glenn said that they worked it through and they started off on a clean slate, but I don't know, Letitia. Girl, I don't know. I don't know. But I just feel like the way that this whole situation was handled was not okay. They did not handle y'all with care and class, and that was super messed up. But y'all, I'm ready for the next episode. The next episode, they will be on the Gulf Coast, so I'm super excited about that, my hometown. And yeah, we're gonna keep on going with this good old Belle Collective thing. Like, I've been loving these episodes, loving this season so far. I think we have Real Housewives of Potomac will be dropping tomorrow. So thank y'all so much for being on the journey with me. I appreciate you. Until next time, have a good one, everybody.